Delighted to have you all here this afternoon on this important topic of how to better serve, engage with, collaborate with, support, mentor Indigenous students at the University of Massachusetts, Boston. As Mike said, I'm Cedric Woods. I'm the Director for Institute for New England Native American Studies, one of the sponsors for this series of two events, as well as the Division of Student Affairs, the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Campus Services, and the Vice Provost for Academic Support Services. We are all here today in a collaborative fashion, and the first workshop was all about understanding the context of Indigenous communities in the Commonwealth and the very rich, diverse mosaic that makes up contemporary Indigenous peoples in the Commonwealth today in 2021, as well as our beautiful campus on Bayside. Although our campus is within the traditional territory of the Massachusetts, as is my home, there are now Indigenous peoples from hundreds of nations who are both students and live and work in this area. The importance of this topic is multifold. First and foremost, as a public university, a public institution, I see UMass Boston as having a commitment and a moral obligation and a legal obligation to service all residents of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. In addition to that, as a place occupying Indigenous homelands, there also is additional obligation to the peoples of this place that houses and serves as the host for the University of Massachusetts, Boston. It's been my great honor and privilege to work here for 11 years and have something of approaching a longitudinal perspective, if you will, as to Native student experiences, as well as Native faculty and staff at UMass Boston. But I'm delighted to be joined today by my dear colleague from Harvard, Shelley Lowe, Executive Director for the Harvard University Native American Program, who has published extensively on this topic, who brings her academic research and practitioner experience to the table, as well as her lived experience as a Dene woman, who is also an alumnus of my own beloved institution, University of Arizona. Go Wildcats. And we are also joined by a diverse student representation here today with Kelly Lewis, Kanaka Maoli, a doctoral student in our School for the Environment, Asa Peters, Mashpee Wampanoag and Narragansett, a graduate student, master student in our Critical Ethnic and Community Studies program, Rachel Winters, Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma, staff colleague, as well as a doctoral student in our College of Education, Sarah Hazlitt, Seneca Nation of New York, as well as Jane Ann Drill. And Sarah and Jane Ann are both undergrads, and Jane Ann is from the Menominee Indian Nation of Wisconsin. So those are my key summaries, and I hope and look forward to you engaging with this and the kind of dialogue that I think will be productive, not just for today, but setting the stage for going forward as partners as we endeavor to support Indigenous students at UMass Boston. Shelley?